And welcome to Phuket in Focus. Firstly, a look at some things you've been saying on our websites during the week about news today. And Kirsty, the newsreader's clothes, Marie Anderson Morn said, "Love the necklace." In relation to the story on News Today, what would you like to say to the local tuk-tuk and taxi drivers? We did a survey. The winning answer was, what are you afraid of? Competition? Coming in as the second most popular answer, time to get some less expensive quality public transport options. A Go-Go Home, that's his name, said, I could add several other things I'd like to say to these drivers, but I don't think they'd be suitable to print here. In our first week on the news, we had Phuket Live's Jason Wilder doing the introductions. Someone commented on Jason's, his wild look. A Go-Go Home said, if Jason's saving for a new comb, I'd like to contribute to it. 10 baht, in fact. Well, Go Home, just remember, Jason is the island's most popular drive show presenter. He doesn't have to look good for radio, but we'll see what we can do about getting him a comb. Now, a few good comments during the week about the first week of programs on News Today. Stephen Lever said, this is what Phuket needs, and a great presenter. Well done to you all. Chris Stopper said, since it started, nothing else is more interesting than keeping watching the Phuket News TV. Good job. And Daniel Machado, he said better and better. A question relating to News Today, what should we do with the ongoing jet ski scam problem in Phuket? Chris Stopper said the best approach could be to avoid renting them altogether. Just ban jet skis on all of Phuket's beaches. A story about the installation of new ramps for wheelchair-bound tourists, visitors and locals in the Phuket News this week. An interesting observation from a Go-Go Home, seems to be very popular this week. He said, OK, ramps are a great idea. Then all they need is usable footpaths to get to them. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. Keep the feedback coming. It's your TV station. So share your thoughts and join the conversation. Just like us on our Facebook page. You can find that by going to the Phuket News, clicking TV and clicking the Facebook link. Coming up on Phuket in Focus this week is an interview with Jack, the Russian sailor who's just arrived back in Phuket following an epic 4-year voyage around the world in a 40-foot inflatable catamaran. Also, we'll be speaking to Simon O from the Phuket News as we go behind the stories in this week's edition. All coming up on Phuket in Focus.
Whoa, hello, Sawadee Krap, Pinong Cup. Jason Wilder here from Drive on Phuket's Live 89.5. Feel the fun.
Drive on Live with Jason Wilder, weekdays from 3, brought to you by the Belgian Beer Cafe on Phuket's Live 89.5. Welcome back to Phuket in Focus. And, well, I'm speaking to a gentleman now who's just rolled into the studio. Would you believe he's sailed around the world in an inflatable catamaran? I'd like to welcome Jack to the studio. Thanks for coming in, Jack.
Oh, thank you for the invitation.
Jack, what's your full name?
The real name, Evgeny Kovalevsky.
Okay.
It's a Russian name.
From Russia?
Yes.
Why did you sail around the world in an inflatable catamaran?
Actually, I'm an adventurer in my heart, and I do it since 1974. I was traveling in different countries, and sometimes even I was rafting down Everest. I was first who rafted down northern river of Everest, Arun.
Aren't rafts meant to be in the water, not on the side
It's
of
paddling. So I'm extreme sportsman in my heart.
Yeah.
So I hate it, but I cannot live another style.
Okay, okay.
That's why I have decided to go around the world, because ocean is real nature.
Yeah.
And to be many, many months, many years on the surface, it's possible to understand what is connection between a human being and the nature. That's one idea. Another idea to check, to test myself, is it possible or not?
Okay.
To survive.
When did the journey start?
5 years ago, in 2008, official start was in Phuket, Chalon Bay, in Thailand.
Right.
5 years ago.
Okay. Well, over the 5 years, where have you travelled? Which places have you gone to?
So, from Phuket,
Yeah.
in 2008,
Yeah.
we crossed the Indian Ocean up to Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
Next year, we continue to Seychelles Island. But after first stage, we were coming back to Russia because the catamaran was completely broken. And we came, it was our design, our captain Anatoly Kulik from Siberia, from Novosibirsk. He made new one. We came back to Arab Emirates and sailed to Seychelles. Again, completely broken.
Right.
again back to Russia.
Fix up the catamaran?
New catamaran, absolutely new. It was trimaran, 3 balloons.
Okay.
And from Seychelles, we went around the
Around
Cape of
Horn.
Good Hope, South
Cape of Good
Africa.
Hope,
It was
yep.
terrible. And crossed Atlantic.
Yep.
And last year, it was the beginning of fourth stage in Brazil.
Yep.
We crossed the Caribbean Sea to Mexico. Crossed Mexico by track, because our catamaran is not yacht, it's not ship. It's possible to dismantle.
Yes.
We dismantle it in Atlantic coast and put it to the track.
So it was too wide for the Panama Canal?
No, through Panama Channel, through Mexico.
Oh, okay.
By big car.
Right.
Crossed by big car, fixed again.
You cheated.
No. It's the unique construction.
Right.
And all the expedition was test. Is it possible or not to use dismantleable, inflatable catamaran in the ocean?
Okay. How big is the catamaran?
This last construction from Brazil to here to Phuket, 12 meters length and 5 meters wide.
Okay. It's still tiny. How many of you on the trip?
They finished at the beginning 6, in
Yes.
the end 4.
What happened to the other 2?
One man came back to Russia because he got abscess on liver.
Yep.
In Mexico, is special bacteria, and he just got disease. And from Mexico to Fiji, it was lady. Captain invited her because it's the territory of French Polynesia, and they say that French people don't like to speak English. So he invited the yacht lady. She was speaking perfect French, so
Okay.
she helped us. But from Fiji, she went back.
Now, what did you eat during the voyage? Did you take a lot of provisions with you, or did you catch
This
fish
energy
and-
diet, this is dry food.
Yes.
Dry food is powder mixed with water.
Yep.
1 minute mixed, 1 minute drink.
Sounds
Lunch.
revolting.
But our captain is very good cook. He could produce soup, fried potato.
Yep.
Sometimes on the islands we bought cucumber, tomato, rice, noodles. We have gas stove and gas balloon, so we could cook right on the surface. But it's unusual. It's no cabin, no shower, no water, no nothing. It's basic. We just lift on the deck. If it is raining, all to us.
Well, the good news is that people can read about it on the front page of this week's the Phuket News
Yeah.
and Novosti Phuketa, the Russian paper.
Yes.
What is your next adventure?
One idea to climb Everest.
People have done that before.
Yes, but I want to. I'm already teacher.
Yeah.
I have pupils,
Yes.
young travelers.
Send them up. You do something more
I
relaxing.
want to fly to Mars.
Okay.
This is a crazy idea. The planet Mars.
Currently, it's probably crazy.
And
yes.
I want to continue the searching for Shambhala in Western Tibet or somewhere in Himalayas. Just like very much
Searching
Shambhala.
for
Shambhala is
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La.
Right.
I like Buddhist territories.
Yes. Yeah.
I like gods of Hindu and Buddhist.
Yes.
So I was 10 times in Himalayas, and in Western Tibet, I found the place, and I believe that this is geographical capital of Shambhala, Shangri-La.
Okay.
It's a very nice place, close to Kailas Mount, Holy Mount.
Okay.
I like it very much.
Well, Jack, thank heavens there are people like you who do something that you want to do, you do it with passion, you explore what's over the other side of the hill. And without people like you, we wouldn't be technologically advanced, because we need people like you to try different things. Thank you very much for going around the world, proving that you can sail around the world in a catamaran or a trimaran, which is inflatable. And we look forward to hearing about your next adventures going to Mars.
Thank you, team. It seems to me all must be in balance. The world needs in the people like you and like me.
And crazy people like you.
Yes.
Jack, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Phuket in Focus. Back soon. And welcome back to Phuket in Focus. Great every week to speak to the managing editor of the Phuket News, Simon Ostheimer. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, got a great story on the front, a bit of a scoop. we've got these sailors who set out from Phuket 5 years ago.
Yep.
And they've been around the world.
Apparently so. Yeah, some 5 years ago, a group of Russian sailors set off from Phuket, around the world trip, on the dinghy you can see on the front page, and they just arrived back last week.
It's not just any voyage, because this was a 12-metre inflatable catamaran.
Yeah, yeah, and sort of along the way they encountered sharks and storms and all sorts of amazing things, but we were completely unaware of this until they arrived back.
Yeah, and we've got a feature interview with Jack, who was the head organiser of the trip on Phuket in Focus a bit later, so we'll hear from Jack. So we'll move on from that story. Let's move into the paper. And which ones were we going to talk to you about? We were going to talk to you about this one.
The Sea Gypsies.
The Sea Gypsies, yeah.
Very interesting story. Well, the Sea Gypsies have had a bit of a hard time in Phuket and the region generally, basically because they're traditionally migratory people. They go from place to place and they of no fixed abode. And now in Phuket, their land is basically, other people say that they own it and they're being threatened with eviction from places that they've been for generations.
Sounds like they're sort of clasping for straws a bit. They've discovered this bone. They're saying this bone might be an ancestor of theirs.
To dispute any kind of other claim to the land, they need to prove that they had lived there for consecutive generations. And now they've discovered a bone, presumably of a human. It's been taken for forensic testing, and they're going to find out.
And they'll say it's human.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that really...
But it should be able to date it as well, which maybe will give it a more sort of legitimacy. But we'll be following this to find out what happens next.
It's probably going to spend a lot of time in court, this sort of battle.
Yeah, and it's not just in this one particular place, it's all around the island, and as I say, all around the region as well.
Yeah, land rights are difficult for the indigenous people right around the world, and this is our little local battle.
Yep.
Okay, let's move into another really good story, and it was something that has to happen to Phuket. It's happened in other parts of the world, and that's the issue of disabled access.
Yeah, this is a Russian, I don't say couple, they're not actually together, but it's a woman and a man.
There's two of them.
In wheelchairs. And they basically met with the governor to ask him if he would consider putting ramps into Nai Heim to allow more sort of beach access for people in wheelchairs and the disabled in general. He seems open to the idea. I think there's got to be a lot of other infrastructure put in to help the disabled beyond merely ramps, but they could be a symbol, if this is done, then perhaps they'll take it to the rest of the island as well. It could be the start of something.
Got restaurants, government offices, just about every office.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had to provide disabled access here in our offices. We've got 4 floors of stairs.
It's true. We'd need an elevator. But the difficulty is, obviously, there's so much of Phuket that doesn't have walkable sidewalk. So you think that has to be fixed first before you start making it even wheelchair friendly. Places like Hong Kong, Singapore, everywhere you go, they have the ramps on and off, for the crosswalks. They have blind guidelines on the road. There's even the crosswalk. When you press the button, it makes a noise. So there's a whole bunch of things that needs to be done beyond building ramps to get onto the beach. But as I say, it could be the launch of something positive. In
Thai people are Buddhist and generally caring people. It's funny that the concept of access and assistance for disabled people hasn't really caught on here.
I think it's just part of developing as a country. It's something maybe in the West people have perhaps taken for granted, and there's just so many things that they have to do. We still have power outages regularly. The power lines need to be done. So it's just part of ongoing infrastructural improvements and development of society.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a few problems getting the Phuket news out with a bit of a power failure and problems with servers and things.
That was a late night.
It was a late night. These things happen with computers. This gentleman's had a particularly bad week. He's lost his computer and a lot with it.
Yeah, it's a local hotelier, and basically he's lost his MacBook Pro with thousands and thousands of images. Basically his lifetime's work of photography, and he's now offering 100,000 baht reward for the return of his property. And it's not so much about the equipment itself, the technology, it's what's on it. It's the memories, it's the...
He's not the first person in Phuket to have a computer stolen. I've had 2 stolen, and I'm on to my 3rd at the moment.
Yeah, 3rd time's the charm.
But the issue is, it's not so much the actual computers, it's the things that you had on it. I lost years of photos, not as important as his photos, but still they're my memories and they're gone.
Yeah.
So what do? You back everything up. What happened last time is I backed everything up onto another hard drive and they stole that too.
Right. Well, I guess the next option is cloud computing, right? It's everything in the cloud and then you'll never lose it.
That's right.
But everyone can see it.
There's a worry there, isn't
There's
it?
a trade-off.
Let's go to Life, which is the magazine you have in the middle of the Phuket news each week. Always a good read. What's on the front page this week?
Well, this, as you can see here, a giant pair of eyes staring back of you. It's Jody Halton. He's done an investigation into the Magic Eyes campaign, which was something from years past to combat sort of pollution and littering across Thailand. A very, very successful campaign, but it kind of died out, and now maybe it's time to be reintroducing it with the pollution problems that we have across the island.
So what's the idea with the Magic Eyes? It's sort of saying people are watching you.
Yeah, it's kind of to build sort of social conscience, get the community involved, and if you see someone littering, you go and tell them it's not appropriate. It goes in the bin.
Oh, that'd go down well.
Well, but the idea is it's meant to be community-led rather than top-down. It's to your peers. So
rather than putting signs up saying, put your litter in the bin.
Yeah.
This is, okay.
Well, that you should be ashamed that you're littering your own country, your own home, as it were.
Okay. So are you going to be seeing more of these green signs around the island?
Well, it's something that's been raised at regular environmental meetings of SEEK and other green groups across the island. So it's just at the discussion stage right now, but maybe we'll see this implemented again in the future.
Let's move into Life this week, and a great article about who you call Monkey Man.
Yep. John Gray, a.k.a. Ling Yai, is his Thai nickname, which literally means big monkey. He's a big guy, and he does have a lot of facial hair. We've done a sit-down, basically, Jody, again, has done a sit-down interview with him about the environment, the ecology, his life story, and also his sea kayaking business, which a lot of people will know him for in Phuket. But he's been around for a long time, and he's got some stories from Hawaii and other places like that. Very entertaining.
He'd take you to some great spots, I bet.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jody, he has been very busy this week, Jody Houghton. You sent him off to some sort of mechanical monster, and he's been the guinea pig for some experiment, it looks like. What's he doing?
Well, this wasn't even something that I had to order him to do. He kind of jumped at the chance. It's a new anti-gravity treadmill at Bangkok Hospital, Phuket. As it sounds, you actually have the feeling of weightlessness as you're running on a treadmill. You go, I haven't seen it, but Jody told me you kind of step on the treadmill, and then they zip you in, completely like seal you inside a bag, vacuum out some of the air, and then completely gives that kind of walking on air feeling.
Would just make me feel cramped and constrained.
Yeah, well, it's just the bottom half of your body. The top half is still open, but apparently very good for sort of people with knee injuries and things like that.
Right.
And they also suggest it for athletes as a way of training, kind of lessening the impact on the joints. So it's kind of got two uses.
Okay. Well, something that I suppose we might see as a ride sometime in Patong soon.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Every week we'll see the Phuket News. It comes out every Friday. It's available at over 600 places around the island.
That's right.
And we'd recommend it's a great read. You've got the news in the Phuket News, and in the middle you've got Life, which will keep you busy all weekend.
And just a reminder, obviously the Life content is not online. If you want to read it, you have to buy it.
Yeah, so we tell people if you want to know the latest news, go to thephuketnews.com, but you're not going to find Life online, so you need to buy the paper.
Exactly.
And we'll get 20 baht every time you do it.
That's right.
Okay. Simon Ostheimer, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Tim.
Simon Ostheimer from the Phuket News, back with more Phuket in Focus in just a moment.